Welcome to the Service Experience Podcast. My name is Yoni Lavi. I'm the CEO of Qtrac, and this show is where we talk with leaders about the in-person service experience. Most companies have digitalized their online channels, but the physical visits is still a blind spot. We explore how leaders are turning that blind spot into an advantage, using real-time data and creating a higher value experience both for customers and the associate.
All right. Welcome, Jose. Good morning. And thank you for joining the Service Experience podcast. For our listeners, Jose Lara is the Director of Service Enablement and Process Optimization for International Operations at Scotiabank. He oversees automation, customer service operations, and operations technology across markets in Mexico, the Caribbean, Chile, Peru, and beyond. Jose, welcome. First,
Thank you.
Could you please tell us a little bit about yourself, what your focus is currently today at Scotiabank?
Thank you, Chris, for having me. And it's a pleasure to chat with you today. Right now, Scotiabank is going through a transformation. It's well known that in the past, international banking used to work in a federated model, meaning each country used to solve their own situations. Today, the idea is to work collectively as a region. And we are looking for scalability, not only across countries, but also across business lines. Part of my mandate is to transform the business and operations and technology. And part of that is simplifying the technology ecosystem. That's a huge mandate. We have a large amount of applications across countries, some of them doing the same things. And the idea is to shift technology as much as possible to the cloud, providing services to all countries, standardizing operating models, and finding scalability and efficiencies.
Okay, wonderful. So what does this look like when you are optimizing operations and systems across markets that are so different than as the ones that you're responsible for?
Yeah, that's a good question. What we are aiming for is to standardize as much as we can, keeping all the local nuances, and majority of the local nuances are coming from regulations, right? But the business is actually not that different. The regulations are one layer that represents around 20% of our process. But the idea is to standardize the rest, which is 80%. And it's a huge opportunity, not only for the bank, but even for our clients, because we can provide them with a differentiated service that they need at a scale, right? With a much lower cost to serve.
Yes. Okay. Now, when we talk specifically about the branch experience, what does what would you say to another banking leader in terms of what they should be focusing on when it comes to the branch experience?
Yeah. Let me begin by saying the following. Before Scotiabank, each country had different segments. Today, national banking specifically have worked very hard with all countries to standardize client segmentation across IB. Now there is a strong governance team, not only in charge of defining the criteria, but also monitoring and controlling that as well. So today in Scotiabank, we have 4 different segments for our clients. Those are mass, top of mass, emerging affluent, and affluent. It's the pyramid, right? And also in the past, every country used to provide differentiated services to their local segments in a different way. Part of the efforts for the governance model has been also standardize that operating model. Not only the value proposition, but also the differentiated service. Now, having said that, when you go to a branch in Latin America in general, clients are expected to see a queue system, some sort of welcome handshake where they can express what they are going to do and receive some sort of ticket number, right? Now, with everything that I said previously, the idea is to have the capabilities to say, you are an affluent client, this is your queue. You are an emerging affluent or a top of mass, this is your queue, right? So the differentiated service starts from there because it's the welcome to the physical branch. And I'll say more. We
Yes,
are
please.
also working on having that functionality on virtual branches. So when a client starts a session virtually, we should be able to know the client segment and use that to direct them to the specific queue.
So how is that in the branch? How is that experience different when you recognize that the customer is from, one segment versus the other? What are some of the things maybe that you are building to make that experience different?
Yeah, I'm going to start with the basics. Before it was first come, first serve. You arrive, you got a ticket number, and you just wait in line. Today, it's a bit different in the sense that there are different queues for different purposes, but also on top of that, the most important component is the segment, right? So depending on where you fall in that pyramid, you will be directed to the right channels.
Okay. Yep, very clear. Now, I know you're passionate about AI. I'm just really curious to understand what is your vision for how AI will help you differentiate that experience in the branch.
Well, there are many use cases around AI, right? The most trending now is with agentic AI. And you have 2 different versions of the same use case. You have the virtual and you also have the in-person, right? Perhaps let me dive into the use case, okay? You have a client going to a physical branch and they have to authenticate, whether that's by QR code or swapping their card or tapping their card or face recognition, whatever the functionality is, right? But right from there, ideally, you should be able to have agents. And those agents should be able to bring up all the information for that specific client and ask the questions based not only on the profile, based not only on the historical, but also in a welcoming manner, right? Uh, at the end of the day, what do you need or what are you looking for? It's a personalized service experience. So the client says, okay, I'm here today to do X transaction or I need X service. And the agent, again, based on all the historical data and the information for the client, should be able to provide the differentiated service, right? Um, if the case needs a in-person assistance, then the agent should be able to connect with that person on the other side to engage and start the human interaction, right? And on the virtual side of things, it's a bit similar, right? Uh, but perhaps uh, in a more autonomous way, the agent should be able to provide more guidance to the client to self-serve, perhaps by giving them direction on where to go, what to trigger, uh, and if required, the human will be also there available to provide that service.
Yeah, so you really seem to be thinking about virtual and in-person not as two separate silos, but, it sounds like you're drawing a lot of parallels between the two and kind of probably thinking about connecting them because obviously the experience can start virtually and then, become in person, right? So is that core to your approach?
Yeah, one of the things that we are aiming for now is client experience. And when you design your processes starting by how you want the clients to experience the process, that's where you see that connection that you're mentioning, right? You start with the happy path, and then you also have to include corner cases where you have to deviate from that happy path and have a human in the loop, right? But ideally, your core capabilities must be digitally developed for that experience.
Very good. Now, you mentioned the customer, obviously visiting the branch. What about the associate that will be serving that customer? Are you thinking about providing them? I mean, the agent is going to have a lot of context, obviously, based on, maybe what just happened virtually, etc. How do you ensure that the agent is in a position to deliver that great experience with the same level of insights as the agent? The AI agent would.
Yeah, yeah. So I would provide additional details. Let's say we could have two different types of agents. The internal agents that in that case are providing services to Scotia bankers only.
Yes.
Those agents will become assistant to employees from Scotiabank, right? Personal banking officer will have agents to interact with and to get insights about our clients. And then you have the external agents. which everybody's aiming on that direction. Those are the most difficult ones, a bit risky if you wish, right? But the concept is there. The idea is to have agents as close to the clients as possible. Uh, Everybody's working on that direction. We are not there yet, but we are learning. We are learning as we go.
Yeah, and you are, I think, an added layer of complexity for you is that obviously you operate in a highly regulated environment, right?
Correct.
It's
Yeah.
very different than retail, for instance, or other segments.
Yeah.
There is banks branches are transforming, right? And I'm sure Scotiabank is driving this transformation as well. So that's, again, another layer of complexity, the expectation of what the branch will deliver, maybe with, services that are more consultative, a little bit less transactional. So how does that overlay, right? How do you transform the branch, from the viewpoint of its role at the same time as you're transforming the technology that the branches use? How does that all come together?
Yeah. That's a question that we get often, right? Because in general, any industry, when it comes to transformation, is like fixing an airplane on the fly. You cannot stop, right? So what we do is first we break down what we want to improve into smaller pieces, and then we focus on those, right? We isolate what we need to improve first. We start working on that component, obviously having the big picture in place, and then we iterate, we test, we deploy, and then we move on, right? There is no way we are stopping the business for us to improve it. We need to do everything. We need to run the bank and change the bank all in parallel. It's not easy. It's not easy. Normally, there are trade-offs and decisions you have to make. But when the goal is clear and everybody is pushing on the same direction, everything is possible.
Yeah. So if you were meeting with another leader in the banking industry, what would you tell them they should really be focusing on right now when it comes to the transformation of the branch experience? What would you say are the top focus areas for them at this time?
Yeah. Empathy would be my first choice, because you know what happens? Sometimes we try to solve problems that we don't understand. So putting ourselves in the shoes of our clients, really understanding what they need, making sure you have data to back it up, because today it's a data-driven decision-making world, right? Before, we used to make decisions based on experience, but today we use data to drive our decisions. And that's how you prioritize, right? That's how you tackle the things that actually move the needle. The transformation we are doing today, it's for a huge vast of people. You have to take that into account. You have new generations becoming our clients today with whole different needs as others, more experienced, right? So it's a huge range. You have to balance that out, and you have to aim for the future as well.
Yeah. What are some of the examples of those new emerging expectations that you are trying to meet in the branch?
Well, one of them is actually not going to the branch at all. It's having virtual branches, right? Especially new generations, they don't want to talk to anyone. They want to do everything hands off at their own time, whenever they want, right? Whenever they can. So providing those capabilities, it's something really important. Also, you see a trend in terms of fraudulent activity, where clients are also worried about that. So the physical interaction will definitely tackle that more easily than the virtual interaction. So having all those components in mind, and as you mentioned, right, the financial institution is a highly regulated industry. So there are too many pieces to put together this puzzle.
So many people want to come to the branch less. However, our observation is that when they come to the branch, that interaction, that experience to the branch becomes even more critical, because how strong the impression is going to be from the brand on the customer. So it becomes even more
100%.
critical to handle that in-person experience really well. Is this your view as well?
100%. It's the most valuable experience you can have with a client. You are absolutely right. So we have to make the best out of it, right? And you know, it's really important, because from the stats, you see how many times a client interacts with us, and from those, you see how many they physically interacted with us. That's the experience. That's where we have to be the best. That's where we have to drive the engagement and use that to make sure that our clients are happy and to maximize business opportunities as well.
Okay. All right. Jose, this was a great conversation. I really appreciate your time. I think we could go on for a lot longer, but I want to respect your time. Again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Service Experience Podcast. If you want to see how we're helping leaders close that in-person blind spot, fueling sharper decisions and greater value for customers and the enterprise, visit Qtrac.com.